Hello. Today we're going to be going through the hexagony example and contest puzzles for the Kurotto type. So Kurotto is very simple in terms of its rules. You just shade some cells so that a clue represents the total of the groups, total size of all groups of cells adjacent to that clue. So as an example, this is a group of size 1 next to the 1. So if this were true, all of that would be true in order for it to work. This 3 could be satisfied like this, as that's a group of 3, or like this, as this is a group of 2 and a group of 1. And, groups can touch more than one circle, as must happen for this puzzle. Alright, so the rules are simple, but Kurotto is a fairly complicated type logically. There's some very intricate things that can be done. So, usually a good place to look in a Kurotto is a large number next to small numbers, or a larger number next to a smaller number. So in this case, this 10 is a natural place to look, but it's kind of hard to see what to do with that. In fact, I don't actually see anything that can be done with that right now. So instead, let's turn our attention to this 7, or even this 3. This 3 is a simpler place to look. If we can look at this cell, if it is not shaded, then look what happens. We can't get past the 1 without breaking it. Therefore, shaded must expand, and we don't know whether it's going to be a 1 and 2 or a 3 that grabs here. But now when we look at the 7, we can do the same thing, where this must be used. And in fact, let's kind of look at it in general here. This group will touch either the 3 or the 6, which means its maximum size is 6, which means we'll need this cell. And what that does is kind of just push it farther. Now, because we know it's size 6, we know all of this is true as well. If we look at the 3 must join this 1, regardless of which cell is shaded. We get here as unshaded. And now we can do something with the 10, where we need a large group, or essentially we need to maximize it. And that means we need the 6. We need this maximizes at 1, this maximizes at 1, and this maximizes at 2. And all of that together is 10, so we shade the final cell, and that is the solution to the example Kurotto. This is actually a very nice puzzle by Eric Fox. I'm very happy that he put this together for the instructions booklet. So let's move on to the other two, starting with the square grid one, puzzle 5, which was also made by Eric Fox. So as you can see, this one is 10 by 10, pretty standard size, and we can do that same deduction we did with the cornered 1 in the middle of the previous solve to get some easy unshaded cells. Now we can look at this 10, and it must escape somehow. So it's going to come up through this path. In fact, size-wise, we can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's going to need at least 2 more. However, there's a little more that we can do right now. If we look at this group, these ones, let's just go to a light gray. This one would force here, would force here, would force here. And this is something you can do without the corner logic. This is actually something I think is really cool, and I'd love to see a puzzle where this is required, because it's not actually required because it's unshaded, shaded, and then we get all that anyway. But it's still a very nice deduction, and I wanted to highlight it. So, the 13 now, can we have a group of 13? Well, I don't really see how we can avoid knowing that, but this cell must be shaded, and this is a group that is either size 9 or size 13. Which means we get this thing with the 5, this one must be used, and this could be a group of size 7, or it could be a group of size 2, depending on this 5. But it cannot be a group of size 7, there's just not enough room. So this is a group of size 5, 2, we then get this 4, which must come out, and we get a little more progress. So this is now a group of size 9, and we're going to mark that with this. Blue, other blue, red, red, gray. We're going to go back to gray. So this is a group of size 9, this is a group of size 5, and this is a group of size 10. We know all of that to be true. Can we do anything else from down here? Not really yet. So let's turn our attention to the top of the puzzle. What can we do here? Well, we can do a lot of the same stuff. For example, this one forces this to go over here, so then this one's shaded, and then this one's shaded. So we get this kind of same cyclone effect. And it goes the other way. But, look at this possibility. What can we do with this 9? Especially once we put in the 4 in a way where the 4 is legal. How do we get the 9 to fit? We don't. There's just not enough room. Therefore, this is the shaded cell, this is a shaded cell, this is a group of size 8, that's a group of size 7, that's a group of size 2. 7 is now only way to get to 7. The 2 goes over here, this 2 extends. This 8 must go down, and now we're left with mostly just a packing argument for these for this last part. So, intuitively speaking, you could just start putting down shaded cells, like, okay, the 9's going to connect, we maximize this, uniqueness says that, pack the 8, pack the 5, and you'd be completely right. But how do we get to that rigorously? Well, I think the best way of doing it is actually kind of what we just did, actually. How can we satisfy this 8 and this 5? Well, we only have, at most, 16 cells over here, including this one, which can't be part of the 8 or the 5. So 15, which means there's this 2-cell gap between them, and the only way to do that would be like this, which then forces the 9 over here. This 9 now is either a group of size 7 coming out of here, or size 9 coming out of here. Well, this is a group of size 8. So we get this. And now what's the maximum size of this group? Well, it's 10. And then what? And then do we shade here or not? Yes, we do, to get to size 9. And on the contest side of things, this was worth 15 points, and I picked this row as the solution row just because that 9, like this cell being part of the 9 or not, is something that could very easily be missed. But alright, let's move on. We're doing this all in one take, unlike the other ones, which are 3 takes cut together, because I'm pretty sure the Kurottos are easy enough. We're going to go to the hexagonal one. So the big difference for the hexagonal Kurotto is that there's no longer this kind of corner adjacency that you could have in regular Kurotto. So all of the groups are just fully surrounded. But a lot of the same techniques still apply. Like, for example, with the 6 in the corner, well, it's next to the 5, this one must be used. This 5 and 4 give the same deduction, this 3 and 6 give the same deduction. It doesn't happen with the 5 and 9 up here, that's not given. But this one with the 6 is really useful. Okay, it has to keep extending. It will have to keep extending. It's size 5, so we get here. This is now size 2. Can't reach around. This 1. Either of those being shaded forces this unshaded. This Kurotto is only worth 10 points, so the hexagonal one was just easier than the original one. It might be a little weird to have a higher point value puzzle before a lower point value one, but I thought that keeping the square hexagon dynamic through the entire contest would be the way to go. This 5 will be satisfied by this group, so it can only need to worry about as far as it can reach. Now this 5 is where things get interesting. It has to get to 5. Well, this side maximizes at 2, which means we would need to put 3 on this side. Which means not here, yes here. How do you get to 3? By connecting to the other 5s. Okay. Now where do we go? Oh yeah, this cell can never be shaded in either of these cases. So, because if it was, then the smaller number would never work. Now this 6, we need to pack at least, we cannot have it connect up to here, but we need to pack at least 5 cells. Can't touch here, can't touch here, so it will take at least these 2. You can also then, ripple down through the ones. Can't take here. We'll need this cell, which prevents another connection, kind of fills out the rest of this right side. And that's just kind of how we resolve the right side. A little give and take with the 6 pushing, and the 5 pushing, and then the 6 pulling. So this 9, we need a group of at least 4 cells here, and this is a group of exactly 4 cells. So what can we do with that? Well, there's not enough room for 2 groups of 4 to coexist. So it must be one unifying group of 4. Now we still need a group of 5, which, how do we do that while still leaving at least 3 for this 8? Well, up here's 5, but down here we can't really get more than 2 without also breaking the 10. So, in order to get enough, we actually need to split this 8 up into 3 groups, a 5, a 1, and a 2. Now, for this 10, we now have a group of 5 here, which will link to this. And now, just a simple packing argument. We need to shade 6 more cells. There's 7 available, so there's a 1 cell gap. And that is the solution to Kurotto 2 from Hexagony. I think that Kurotto is a really fun type. It's a really hard type to construct. Eric Fox is amazing at it. I don't know how he keeps coming up with these really cool puzzles. But yeah, I thought that this was a really, really nice addition. Hexagonal Kurotto is a great variant, and I'd love to see more of these. Alright, until next time, later.